Okay, it is now Wednesday. Unfortunately, I've not ran Monday, Tuesday this week. It was just impossible logistically. Flight was delayed yesterday. Monday there was literally nowhere to run, so I just had to take the hit. So I've shuffled it around this week a little bit, and we've got 4 by 15 minutes this morning, and we're in a place called Bocas del Toro. So there's a little bit more sort of paved roads, in fact a lot more paved roads to run on. Humidity's still like 95%. It's about 7:30 in the morning, so it's cooler. It's still about 25 degrees, so we're going to do 4 by 15 minutes, 3 minutes float recovery, and we're not really aiming for a pace at all, to be honest. Heart rate 160 to 180. Just going to really try and go off effort. I probably will start quite slow so I don't absolutely tank it. Got mile warm up, mile cool down. Let's see how we get on. I'll take you with me for as much as I can and show you the beautiful sights. I'm carrying a bit of a pack. I wanted to buy some water, but it doesn't look like there's any. Anyway, let's go. Please don't bite, please don't bite. Perfect running here, like. Although a little bit hot and humid, the actual path, the paved road, is so good. I think I've reached the end of it now, so I'm just going to do my rest out along here and then turn back, because there's no chance I can do a session along this. But look at that for a view. I mean, holy shit. Oh, 4 by 15 minutes. Done. Jesus Christ. That was tough. That was really tough. You know, that was really hard, and definitely not the pace that I want to be running. But one thing to keep in mind when you're training, I mean, I'm knackered there, but you should never finish a session completely, absolutely done out. I always view training as like coiling a spring. You should always just keep trying to coil the spring, and the only time you let it go is on race day. So even if in sessions you're not really hitting your pace, as long as the effort's there. Today I was way off my pace. Effort was definitely where I wanted it to be, around that heart rate zone, hovering around 180. And it's just about coiling the spring. You know, I might not hit the pace today, but in reality, it's not about hitting the pace today. It's about hitting the pace on race day. So, in actual fact, as long as you're putting in the work, it doesn't really matter. Obviously, you need to be training hard, and you know, you can't just go out and do easy runs and expect to run PBs. But it's definitely not about ruining yourself every single session. It's just about managing the body, managing the effort. And yeah, I just had to keep dropping the pace. I think that was the most perfect regression I've ever done. I got slower and slower, but it's just the way it is sometimes. So I'm glad to box that session off. It was supposed to be yesterday, but never mind. We got it done. We will unfortunately have 2 rest days this week rather than 1. Bit of a peak week as well for Paris half, but doesn't really matter. Look, should never chase miles. I've just got to accept that that was the circumstance I was in. I've missed those sessions. Let's just move on and keep getting fit. Cheers. This is the ride back to the hotel. Nice sea breeze. So it is now Friday, getting towards the end of the week. Still sticking with the weekly vlogs. Did 7 miles this morning. 6 miles at sort of 6:30 pace. Miles, 6-minute miles that is. 6:30-minute miles. And I am just heading to the gym for the afternoon. Not really sure what I'm going to do at the gym. Might just do like a full body thing. Just to keep it ticking over, really. Not sort of prioritising the running more than the gym. Being on holiday, it's hard. You always tell yourself that you're going to train when you're on holiday, and then when you're actually here, it's always a lot harder than what you think to get out there and still keep the training up. So gym will just happen when it happens. I'm not too fussed. So we'll go and do a little, probably full body workout for 45 minutes or so. And then we've actually got a big session tomorrow. We've got 10 miles at sort of zone 3, zone 4. So that's going to be pretty uncomfortable, I know already, especially given the heat and the humidity where I am. I've been finding the sort of faster stuff just really hard. Just feels like it takes so much out of you. And it's also quite demoralising when you're running and you don't really feel like you're hitting the paces or the session that you want to be doing, and you feel like crap running paces that normally should feel pretty smooth. So we've got 10 miles tomorrow, we'll see how that goes. And it's actually carnival this weekend. It's obviously very popular in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, but it's also pretty big in Panama. We're not in like the main town where carnival normally happens, but there's still a bit of a celebration this weekend, so we'll check that out over the weekend as well. We've got a couple more nights here, and then we're heading over to the Pacific side of Panama next week, so we'll be able to vlog some training over on the Pacific side. But yeah, let's hit the gym up, full body session, and see how we get along. Oh, that was a sweaty gym session, and they even had aircon. I've just walked out the gym and this is what's going on. No idea. Right, that's Friday complete. Gonna maybe go out, get some food and chill. Feel like the heat takes out of you a lot more when you're training in the hot weather. So got 10 miles in the morning. Saturday, Sunday left of the week, and that will wrap up week 2 of London Marathon training. And this Sunday actually marks 3 weeks until Paris half marathon, so we've really got 2 weeks of work left, and then maybe sort of a mini taper, but with all eyes focused on London Marathon at the minute. So I'll leave it there for the day. It is Saturday morning, 7:30. I have got 10 miles at zone 4, zone 3 / zone 4, so that's going to be, I don't know, 6:30 pace maybe in this heat. But I'm not looking forward to it, not one bit. It's going to be pretty grim. Judging by the rest of the runs I've had here, it's going to be pretty grim. So I'm going to get out, do the 10 miles, try and keep it relatively steady in terms of same pace throughout. Try not to bonk and get slower and slower as I go. So we'll do this, and then it's chilling for the rest of the day, and then I think it's just an easy run tomorrow. So this is sort of last hard run of the week, but probably quite an important one on the lead up to Paris. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty knackered this morning. Legs are pretty knackered, so this is going to be hard. But let's get out of the way, get it done. It's these ones that count. Right, 10 miles. Let's go get this over and done with. Not much over an hour, hopefully. An hour and 15. Let's get this done. Right, we've got 11 miles on the cards. It's Sunday, and I'm gonna sneeze. I tell you what, days like today, you do ask why on earth do you bother? Why do you go out and run 11 miles? when you're on holiday? I'm asking myself those questions. Why can't I just be one of those people that sits there and does note? After seeing all the success at Barcelona Marathon, Seville Marathon, well, Barcelona half and Seville, gives you that little bit of extra motivation to get out the door, watching so many people run some pretty quick times. Thankfully I've just got an easy run, so we'll do 11 miles easy. That'll get me to 50 for the week, which is good enough for me. Right, it is Sunday afternoon, end of the week, which means it's the end of week 2 of my weekly vlogs that I promised myself I would do. End of week 2 marathon training. Decent week this week, got about 50 miles. In amongst all of this amazing travelling, currently on a beach called Starfish Beach. There is starfish everywhere. Not a bad place to recover. After a pretty tough week of training, I must say, first big week in the sun and in the humidity, it was sort of touching 100% every single day this week of humidity, and it definitely made it harder. I'm actually pretty knackered towards the end of this week, but hoping and praying that it will all come to fruition. All this heat training and humidity training will come to fruition in Paris in 3 weeks, in London in about 7 or 8. So I think I'll wrap it up there from Starfish Beach, Bocas del Toro in Panama, and we'll go and enjoy the rest of my Sunday afternoon in absolute paradise, making the most of it, because this is certainly not going to last forever. Next week we will ramp it up even more. I think maybe aiming for about 60 miles next week, before maybe a little taper towards Paris. We'll be in Panama right up until Paris half, fly back for literally a day, and then I'm flying to Paris with Hoka and Pro Direct, which is incredible. So yeah, I've got a couple more of these weekly vlogs to go. Let me know if there's any suggestions, anything that people would like to see. I don't know whether or not to keep it kind of focused on the running, or also a bit of travelling around Panama and what there is to see and do here as well. Yeah, give me a shout in the comments, or let me know via social media what you'd like to see on these weekly vlogs. As always, this is me very much starting out on my YouTube journey. So any likes, subscribes, any sort of support is hugely appreciated. I am doing my best. So any feedback or anything like that, also appreciated. And I'll see you next week for week number 3 of London Marathon Diaries in Panama. Cheers.